Oh, one guy, he can shoot. The other guy, not so much.
Where we gonna go to celebrate?
Uh,
Thinking Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay, yep.
Get that stuff out of here.
And although they're very different in many ways, most importantly, they're brothers for life. And they always gonna have something to say.
That's exactly what's gonna happen. You gonna end up like Russell Westbrook. You gonna be just out. Welcome back. I got something to say. Back again. Quaylen Q. Smith along with my partner Alan AJ Warden. Now we're joined by my boy Aaron Cuervo coming to us from Allison Park, Pennsylvania. Excuse me. Aaron, how you doing?
Good. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I said Allen Park. I'm thinking of Michigan because I'd be up there, but he out in Pennsylvania. We thank you for being on the show. We're gonna talk a little bit about the intangibles. A lot of people rank Michael Jordan above LeBron James, amongst other people, because he has the quote-unquote intangibles. The intangibles are things that cannot be measured, things that go by the eye test, as it were, that makes Jordan somehow better than LeBron James. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to include the intangibles in the argument for the simple fact that when you compare numbers, you compare pound for pound, player for player. Yes, LeBron might be mentally weaker than Jordan, but that doesn't take away from his skill. I'm under the impression that the fact that LeBron is mentally weaker and he doesn't go as hard and doesn't have those quote-unquote intangibles and still puts up better numbers and has a longer career, that actually makes him better. Like, he doesn't try as hard, and he brings more results. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Alan, start us off.
I think intangibles are. I think they're important. Because, like, I guess with Mike, the thing, he actually had more of an advantage than LeBron because he didn't come into the league with many expectations. LeBron came into the league with, a million expectations. So Michael had to channel that inner. He had to develop that inner kind of dog in him, those intangibles that people talk about. I guess that killer mentality that people say he had. I think like LeBron, like he, like you say, he puts up better numbers. He's a better all-around player, but like you say, he doesn't try as hard. So, to me, it's pick your poison. It's honestly, to me, it's you can't go wrong with it either.
All right, Aaron, jump in there. What do you think?
I think it matters when you're talking about like LeBron and Jordan because the numbers don't tell the whole story all the time. In the favor of Jordan, they'll say that his points per game mattered more because he wasn't hitting threes and whatever it is. When you're talking about numbers to great players, it's not everything. But I think when you start talking about, like, if you start comparing other players and you're not really having the GOAT debate, I don't think it matters as much. I think it really only matters when you're talking about the guys who are leading the team to the championships. You're talking about like the Kawhi Leonards or the Kevin Durant's, LeBron James, the Michael Jordans, those guys who are like the face of the franchise, the guys who are going to be at the end. Those are the guys that you're really taking those into consideration. With LeBron and Jordan, as far as that debate goes, I'm always going to be a fan of LeBron. That's the GOAT because, I grew up watching him. But even then, I think one intangible that doesn't get talked about enough is that Jordan had to quit and go play baseball because based on the documentary, they're talking about that there was too much media pressure on his gambling and stuff. LeBron has handled the expectations of him needing to be great no matter what, honestly, almost without a flaw, except for maybe the decision. He's never done anything bad for a team. He's never put bad on his name, on his family. He's, for somebody who's quote-unquote mentally weak, I kind of consider it to be mentally strong to be able to continue to do it year in and year out. So it matters when you're talking about the GOATs, I think, especially for those two in particular.
Yeah, I get what you guys are saying, but here's where I disagree when you talk about it. Yes, it does matter. I'm not saying the intangibles is crap because it's not crap. But it's just like, okay, when you're comparing players, you know, trying to let bygones be bygones. I just don't think that should be a factor, at least that big of a factor. Okay, Michael had a killer instinct. People try to argue that Kobe's a GOAT. We'll have a couple of guys on the show, and we're gonna bust them up later on. But you know, okay, Kobe had that killer mentality. LeBron don't have that killer mentality. Okay, LeBron does not have that killer mentality, and the man went to. Let's break this down. Prior to this year, LeBron had 16 seasons under his belt. Mm-hmm. Made the playoffs 13 of those 16 seasons. 9 out of those 13 playoff appearances, he was in the NBA Finals with no quote-unquote intangibles. If you ain't trying and that's what you end up, I mean, come on, man. That's greatness. That is greatness. And like Cuervo said, you know, people don't talk about certain intangibles. No, LeBron has intangibles, maybe not the same ones as Jordan. Maybe he has less intangibles than Jordan, but when you talk about the end result, he has less rings. I give you all that. He has more finals appearances. He has better stats. He's had a longer career without intangibles.
Played more difficult opponents.
Well, more difficult opponents. I mean, you know, for some reason, Allen doesn't want to put no respect on John Stockton's name. But
that's true.
Sorry,
that's true.
John Stockton. But at the end of the day, let's be real. John Stockton and those Utah Jazz had nothing on them Warriors, nothing on them Spurs. I mean, I guess they're comparable to the Mavericks. But that's about it.
I'd say the Jazz are better than the Mavericks.
Yeah. Okay. So you talking about one opponent as opposed to? I mean, you know what I mean? Like
I'm behind you wholeheartedly with what you're saying. I just think that, even LeBron, when you talk about that killer mentality, there's times where it's on. I think like you're a Celtics fan, right? And you remember back, I think it was like 2012, and it was Game 5 or something.
Get off my show. Get off my show. Get off my show right now. Don't talk about it. No, get off my show.
No, in all seriousness, like no diss on the Celtics or anything. The type of LeBron that came into that game was different. It was the type of person that everyone talked that Jordan was. Everyone said that Kobe had that. LeBron went in there and wasn't smiling, wasn't joking. He looked angry all game, and he went in there and acted like he was the GOAT because he was. And that day, nobody could stop him. The entire Celtics, completely helpless. That's not me trying to make fun of the Celtics. That's genuinely saying LeBron has it. I don't know maybe why he doesn't always take over. There's some times where he comes off passive. But you can't say that LeBron doesn't have the intangibles that those other guys did if he has come up time and time again. I mean, you talk about the block. You talk about when they played the Pistons and he scored, what was it, the last 29 Cavalier points. There's so many instances that LeBron has where he took over. He had the mentality. He had every bit of it, and he went deep into his bag. He played all the offense, still played defense, whatever you want to say. So he doesn't not have the intangibles. I don't know why he gets killed. I mean, if we're being fair, yes, he didn't show up in the 11 finals. Yeah, that everyone has a blemish on their record. I mean, Jordan went 1-9 in the first round of the playoffs for his first couple years. So I discredit the whole LeBron doesn't have the intangibles. He has everything that a basketball player needs. Everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan, get in there again. You got anything else to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like when Jordan was playing against the Boston Celtics, and he was, dropping 60 points on the dudes, taking L's. Like he was scoring all those points and still losing. So it's like it's not always about scoring. It's not always about that killer mentality when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. I think LeBron makes the right basketball player a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
when guys don't hit the shots, LeBron's criticized. But when Mike, like when he didn't even pass the ball to John Paxson, like he was like 2 passes. Like Mike passed the ball to somebody else who I think passed it to Horace Grant, who then passed it to John Paxson. Like, but he hit the shot. Nobody cares. When Steve Kerr hit the shot against
Jazz,
Utah,
it was Jazz. Yeah, Utah.
Yeah, in '97.
Like, that's the right. I mean, that's the right basketball play. Michael could have took the shot, missed, made it. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna live and die with what my best player decides. Whether that be LeBron or Michael, and if Michael decides to take the shot every time or most of the time, because he didn't take it all the time, obviously.
Right.
So be it.
And
That's my best player.
Yeah.
But LeBron, if he decides to pass the ball to a wide open teammate who's in the NBA, I'm not gonna criticize him for that. So don't talk to me about intangibles when it comes to that.
Yeah, and he gets ripped. I remember Skip Bayless said a couple of days ago, maybe
Skip Bayless.
It was either. So it was a couple of days ago. Earlier in the week, he made a comment. They were arguing about, that Steve Kerr shot as opposed to when LeBron passed to Kyle Korver. That was he said that was the wrong play that LeBron made to Kyle Korver because Kyle Korver missed. No, it was the right play. It just didn't work out. I mean, again, like Alan said, he said it perfectly. My best player decided that he was going to pass to a wide open teammate who I think Kyle Korver is top 5 all time in 3-point field goals made. And
who knows?
I think he is. Yeah, he is. He's top 5. Yeah. So, I mean, you tell me. What else am I supposed to do?
He's pretty good. He can shoot a little bit.
Too. That brings up another. It's a totally different discussion. But Shaq always talks about the others, and he talks about the supporting cast. That the stars obviously made the plays. The stars are going to be credited with the wins and the losses. They're held accountable for everything. But the others matter. They do. Honestly, in my opinion, they do, because I feel like the difference between Jordan and LeBron is that LeBron has had better high profile teammates, but Jordan always had the squad where, he had his sidekick in Pippen, but he always had a well-rounded group of players who had different skills, whether it was shooting, defensive, players. In the first 3 championships, you had Paxson, Horace Grant, you had Bill Cartwright. There was a good group of players. Whereas LeBron has had Dwayne Wade, Kevin Love, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving. So, really great players, but constantly lacked, that sixth man who was supposed to just come in, give him the 2 or 3 3-pointers, and he's always lacked the well-rounded group, but has had the higher profile players, and that matters because in the Lakers championship runs, when you talk about Kobe and Shaq, Robert Horry constantly hit the dagger 3 to put teams away, or Derek Fisher constantly hit that shot that would get them going in the right direction. The others matter. And I think Jordan's always had the better teams all around. The guys who were able to get them the clutch shot, the good pass, whatever, the defensive stop. And LeBron has severely lacked on multiple different finals runs with that.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true.
Yeah,
you can have all the intangibles you want to. If you don't have a team around you, there's nothing you can do with that. All right, let's transition a little bit. We're going to talk now about Jason Whitlock. I'm a fan of Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock is the reason why on the opening segment of each show, I do a soliloquy, kind of in mimicking his football. But Jason Whitlock has some interesting comments this past week about the coronavirus and the way we're dealing with it as a country. Take a listen.
There is risk inherent in life and in living. And I'm not suggesting there's no risk of the coronavirus. I'm saying we're over the top with our fear, and previous generations faced challenges similar or just as dangerous and kept functioning. And that's what I would like to see happen from the sports world, because I think it's very important. The sports world is very important to our culture. Freedom is a value more important to a lot of people than their own life. The history of America is littered with that.
Well, there. Jason. I love you, dog, but you missed the mark on this one. Everything you said was absolutely selfish, self-centered, and incorrect. Okay, I'll give you this. People have valued their freedom more than, their right to live or their lives or the lives of others around them. That's very true. That's also not correct. Just because people do that and that's the popular course doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. People are losing their lives out here still. People are losing family members. I know people who have lost family members over the coronavirus. There is no vaccine. It is not getting better. Okay, people are recovering, very true. People are not recovering. You want to go to Wally's, you want to go out to eat with your partners, and that's fine. I'm about tired of sitting up in this house too. Everybody who know me know I like to shoot pool. I want to go play me some one pocket or some tin ball. But the fact of the matter is, if it's not safe, it's not safe. And we can't sit up here and risk the lives of anybody else. Just because you don't care about anybody else but yourself does not mean that everybody else needs to adopt that attitude, even if that is the quote unquote American way. Alan, get in there a little bit. What do you think?
I mean, I don't understand why the producers are letting him say these things, honestly, because it's like people are out here dying, bro. Like it's not no sports topic, an unpopular opinion. Skip Bayless, he says a lot of stupid things, but it's like at the end of the day, he's not insulting people like their lives. He's not playing around with people's lives, making comments. This dude, I mean, it's honestly like you said, he don't care about nobody but himself. I mean, he want to go to Wally's with his big behind. Like, dude, sit your butt at home. Like to for him to tell, and this is something he also did. He told Pennsylvania governor to shut the bleep up. For him to say that, I mean, he's trying to protect the citizens of his state. I mean, honestly, what if it's your grandma that gets sick from corona? The grandma that you close to, now she dead. What if it's your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother? Now they got corona. Now they're on their deathbed. Like, I bet you wouldn't have the same energy. Nobody ever cares about something until it hits home for them. I have a friend whose mom almost died because of corona.
Absolutely. And
my friend already lost his dad. Like, come on, bro. Go ahead, Aaron.
Real quick, Aaron, before you get in there, Aaron, I do want to say this about Jason Whitlock. This is not the first time that he's said or alluded to these thoughts, these comments. He's said this habitually over the last couple of months, which I think is just, like Alan said, the producers, I think they need to be checked as well, because it's just utterly ridiculous that you would be that insensitive and self-centered. You can be as self-centered as you want to. You can be as insensitive as you want to, but do that quietly. Don't publicize that. Aaron, go ahead.
I just think that something that needs to be said is we love sports. Everybody that watches, it's an entertainment. And I think we tend to forget that those people, as soon as they get off the field, the court, whatever it is, they are humans too. And their lives matter. The only difference between us and them is probably about $500 million. But that's about it. They still go home and they have family and friends, and they have problems just like us. And in general, about this whole thing, the coronavirus has been one of the most life-altering things I can think of, even in the recent history. I've never seen a shutdown. I've never seen life change to this magnitude. And there's been so many people affected by it that when you start generalizing a comment and telling everybody, bleep this and go forget all that, just, that's a line that you shouldn't cross. And it's up to each individual to decide whether or not they're going to take it seriously. But like you said, once you get affected and once someone gets it, then all of a sudden it's not a joke. Then all of a sudden it's not forget health, do what you want, blah, 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 freedom. It's not about that. It starts becoming bigger, closer to home. And like you said, you can be insensitive all you want in the background. You can say everything you want, not wear a mask, not care. You're not going to get it. You're not in the age bracket. That's fine. Don't tell everyone else that. Because don't go up to a nurse who had to watch someone die from it. Don't tell the doctors who were actively working day and night, spending time away from their family, that it's not serious. Because it is. If you don't think it is, it's up to you. But the general public probably is not going to be behind that one. And I don't know. That's disappointing. Heavily disappointing.
And here's cause for pause. I remember about a month ago, somebody posted this on Instagram, and it really struck me. It was, referring to people who kind of have that same mentality that, this is ridiculous and, we want to get back to living and things like that. The post said, which family member or two family members are you willing to sacrifice and watch die because of your, for the sake of your freedom. And that struck me because people, like it was both alluded to, that, and outright said, not alluded, but you guys outright said that, people don't take things serious until it affects them. Which I don't understand. I think people need to take a good hard look at themselves and try to see things from other people's perspective. Even with this virus, okay, I'm not suffering from it, but other people are. How would I feel if I was in that situation? Just because you're not being affected by a virus or a sickness doesn't mean that it's not real. I'll give an example. Colon cancer. I don't know anybody that's suffered or passed away from colon cancer myself, but it is a real thing, right? Breast cancer is something. I lost my grandmother to breast cancer almost 18 years ago, rest her soul. And, it's a real thing to me, but for somebody to turn around and say, okay, well, that's not that big of an issue or it's not that bad of a cancer, things like that are just ignorant. And to view this virus in the same light, just because you're not affected by it doesn't mean it's not real. And that goes for anything like hunger or natural disaster. Whatever the case is, don't downplay the sufferings and misfortunes of other people for two reasons. Number one, because it could very well be you one day. And number two, you actually might suffer worse in other ways than people who are currently going through things. So we need to be careful. It's cause for pause. Really sit down and think about that. Alan, jump back in there.
I mean, yeah, you guys said it all, really. Just nobody cares until it hits them. And Jason Whitlock is just the latest example of just ignorant. Just, when you have a public platform, man, you gotta be careful with that. Like, you gotta be careful about the stuff you put out there, man. If you want to do that stuff behind closed doors, you want to go to Wally's and rub your behind all over the tables, do that. But like, don't put that on the media, because don't do that.
And something else too that I want to, like, there is a lot more to that. I think people are thinking of, because of the effects of all this. You're talking about not just lives that are getting affected, but the flip side of that is a lot of people haven't worked. Money hasn't really been moved, so the economy is stagnant and, going to go down. A lot of people suffer from that. I mean, there's people living check to check that, they can't pay for the car note, pay for the car repair, pay for the house, whatever it is. There's so much stress that it's not just insensitive to kind of just put aside the feelings of those people who've been affected by it, but then also too, there's more layers to it. There's certain people that they're not able to eat. They're constantly going to wonder what am I going to do? When is a job going to happen? When am I going to be safe to go out? There's so many wrinkles to this COVID issue that whether or not somebody got affected by it, somehow it's already affected your life. And talking about and putting openly like, oh, hey, it's my freedom to do what I want. I mean, it's ignorant because, there's a lot of people that need a lot right now. I mean, the government doesn't just hand out money for no reason. There's a legitimate issue. You have to take everyone's, feelings into consideration, whether or not you think you're part of it.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say to Whitlock's defense, if I could even come to his defense, he did mention some of the economic hardships and trials and kind of tried to throw that in there as a kind of a more level-headed basis to what he was saying, although that wasn't the main point of what he was saying. But even with him, stating that, that's he brought up that issue, which is a very true issue. Now we have to find some sort of balance because, I guess we can't do this forever. But to just say, okay, just let's go willy-nilly, for lack of better words, and telling governors to shut the bleep up. And he said, health be blanked. You know what I mean? In other words, just forget health. And, and he also made this comment too. I don't know if it was the same day or was the day before, because he said this multiple times, but he was saying, we can all just sit in our house and wait for death to visit us there. You know what I mean? So he's like, okay, we're going to die anyway. So let's, and, I said, it's just so insensitive, man. It's people going back to me and Alan's friends that, that almost, his mother almost lost. That's big stuff, man. That cut me to the core. It's not even my mom, but that cut me to the core knowing that she was that close to losing her life. Glad that she's okay now. She's doing much better. And, hey, shout out to Cleveland Clinic for getting her together. And, it's real out here, man. So we're going to leave this topic right here. You know, everybody, I just want to say this before we go. Please be safe. Please take the precautionary measures. I know it looks silly sometimes, but wear your gloves, wear your mask, keep social distancing in effect, because we're trying to really stop the spread of this virus, and people are, in fact, losing their lives. Take it seriously. Even if you don't know anybody, know that it could be you next if you don't do your part to help this out. We'll be right back after this. Booyah.